Coming up on the forum, tax breaks for low-wage earners can translate into bigger tax refunds and free tax assistance. Monthly paper checks for Social Security, SSI, and veterans benefits are now a thing of the past. We'll bring you up to date. And a new video is available to new parents, free of charge, to help them keep their sleeping baby safe. Human Services Forum begins right now. Hi, I'm Jan Callahan. Welcome to the forum. Did you know that about 1 out of every 5 taxpayers eligible for the Earned Income Tax Credit don't claim it? As a result, they miss out on valuable assistance in covering their family's most basic expenses. Bonnie Taswell with the United Way of Southampton Roads joins us with good information about the EITC, free tax preparation services, and assistance for those of you who would like to prepare your own income tax returns. So that's a new twist on an old story, yes. But EITC for many might be a new thing or something that they just have felt they didn't want to bother with. But the Earned Income Tax Credit really can make a difference when people are filing for their tax refunds. Sure. Yeah. What kind of a difference can we make with a refund for, say, a family of 3 or more children that qualify?
For a family that size, we can look at a refund of maybe a little over $5,000 in several cases.
Okay, and that's just the Earned Income Tax Credit, right?
That is correct.
Because there are other tax credits that they may qualify for as well.
If they do have school-age children or college students, they can also have the education credits, they can have child care credits. It's a number of credits that families can take advantage of.
Okay, so that can really add up in terms of what they may get either in a break on their taxes or in terms of a refund check.
That is correct.
And the IRS did begin accepting returns a little later this year, so I know people are anxious to get their returns filed and get their refund checks, if indeed that's what they are anticipating getting. They're just going to have to wait a little longer. However, the good news is that there is assistance out there in the form of free tax preparation for people who don't have the $200, $250 to spend for somebody else to do it.
That is correct. One of the things that we are excited about with the tax prep program that we offer, we can save clients anywhere from $200, $300, $400, up to $500 and more in tax preparation fees. Wow. The other beauty of it is we're an education to them as well, because not only are we doing their taxes or preparing the taxes if they would like that program, we also educate them and help them understand where these refunds are going, how they are saving, and we are also encouraging savings of those funds, because the families that we work with more than likely need that extra financial boost to help them survive.
Sometimes it's just the money and there it is, and it's easy to think, okay, even if I have a little left over after I cover everything else that I need to pay for, it's easy to go out and just go wild. And sometimes even setting aside a small amount is a start.
Yes. There are also bonds that they can secure for their children. Mm-hmm. They could come in, they could open accounts if they don't have checking or savings accounts with a bank or credit union. There are information pieces there that can help direct them into what is the best options for them. And if they don't have affiliation with a bank or financial institution, they will have an opportunity to have their refunds on a debit card, if that's their choice.
All right, so there are a lot of decisions, and important ones, that people need to make regarding their income and their finances. The Southampton Roads EITC Coalition is a group from the south part of the region that gets together, provides free tax assistance. The United Way of Southampton Roads is one of its larger partners and very involved. There are 11 locations throughout Southampton Roads. There are also roving sites that Bonnie has been involved with, so they kind of come to you, but you know, that's still getting set up. Yeah. A lot of people very anxiously waiting to get their taxes done for free. And there is also an event coming up, the 23rd of February, I believe, for people who might want to have their income taxes prepared.
On February 23rd, from 10 till 2, we're going to be at Pembroke Mall, and we're going to be in one of the Youth Opportunity Inc. Facilities at the mall that people can come in and have their taxes prepared by our volunteer tax preparers, or they have the option of preparing their own taxes with assistance with our financial and our tax coaches.
Okay, so from the time again?
10 until 2 on the 23rd of February.
Okay, at Pembroke Mall. And so not only free tax preparation assistance, but teaching you how to do your own taxes, and also some other resources that you may find very, very helpful, all in one place. And it doesn't cost you a cent.
That's correct.
One other thing that the United Way in particular has been working on is a program called My Free Taxes. So when you have tax in every little title, it gets a little confusing, but My Free Taxes certainly is a catchy phrase. What does it do?
My Free Taxes is a program that is offered through United Way, Goodwill, and the National Institute, Disabilities Institute. And they're tax volunteers that can actually take calls over the phone. It's almost like your own personal tax answering service. And if you're game enough to do your own taxes in the beauty of your home in your pajamas, you could just call them on the phone. They can advise you how to prepare your taxes, take any questions that you may have, and these are certified volunteers through IRS.
Okay, so if you get stuck on something, you can call this number and it will be answered by somebody who can help you through.
That is correct.
So you can move on. So yeah, so it's just having your own little tax help right there in the privacy of your home. And you can also call 211 for information about this as well, and that's their information line for all kinds of services. But they should be able to hook you up as well. So 1-855-MY-TAX, that's TX, help, or 1-855-698-9435 for My Free Taxes, which is a great service and a convenient one for people who really don't feel like they have to get up, get dressed, and go out and
That's true.
get this done. So
that is true.
Nice to have.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a nice service. And thanks for sharing what is going on with the tax world in Hampton Roads, and we'll surely talk to you again as the tax season progresses, because it's just getting underway. We know it's busy. Yeah, thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you.
When we come back, the U.S. Treasury comes to us with important information about how you'll be receiving your Social Security, SSI, and VA benefits from this point forward, so you won't want to miss it.
Hey, Sandra.
Oh, sorry. I'm just really surprised at how expensive food has gotten. We've been trying to put aside some money to buy a house, but lately we can barely make it from one paycheck to the next.
I'm in the same boat, but with this additional money I'm getting from the EITC, things are looking better.
EITC?
It's the Earned Income Tax Credit. I'm going to be getting almost $2,500 back.
What?
For more on the EITC and free tax preparation, call or visit our website.
Are you getting your Social Security, VA, or other federal benefits by paper check? You're required by the U.S. Department of the Treasury to switch to electronic payments by March 1st, 2013. That's not far from here. It's the law. Walt Henderson joins us from the U.S. Treasury Department to drive home an important point. No more checks in the mail, which as I understand it, Walt, translates into a $120 million savings for the federal government, because printing checks and mailing them can be very expensive.
That's right. Checks are expensive.
Wasn't trying to put you on the defensive there, just stating a fact, but it does make a significant savings.
And a savings for the government, but ultimately for taxpayers, so it's a good thing.
Okay, well, so there is a campaign that has been immersed in making sure that people know about it. Now we're getting down to the wire, because this has been going on for a while. It's called Go Direct. So what is the Go Direct campaign trying to do, particularly at this point of the game?
The Go Direct campaign is reaching out to anyone that is currently receiving a paper check for Social Security, SSI, or Veterans Benefit, encouraging them to meet the deadline and make the switch to direct deposit by March 1st, 2013. Okay. We still have about 5 million paper check recipients across the country, and we even have 102,000 here in the Commonwealth that still receive paper checks. So we're eagerly working with groups and getting the word out and hoping people make the switch.
Well, if they don't do it themselves, does it automatically default into a debit account?
Well, we don't want to go that far yet. We want people to comply by March 1st, 2013. We do realize that there are people with unique circumstances, so we want to make sure after the deadline, if they don't comply, we'll reach out to them by mail and see what we can do to help them make the switch over. But ultimately, the deadline is March 1st, 2013, and we hope people make the switch.
This is a change for people, in many cases, who really don't like change. So I imagine there's been some concern and resistance, or some concern even from relatives who have maybe loved ones who get their checks in the mail and may not quite comprehend what's going on.
The great thing about the Go Direct campaign, and we've been at this for 2 years now, is we just don't educate people about the deadline to make the switch. We educate people about how electronic payments work and how it's really the safer, more convenient option versus a paper check.
Okay. So it is the way to go, and that is where everything is heading.
That's
is
right.
Electronic. So it's got to start sometime.
That's right.
But you know, I know this campaign has been going on for quite some time. So, but still, 102,000. That's a lot of people, and hopefully, it'll be a smooth transition. So, this is going to affect probably how many people overall? I mean, we've got a lot of people that are getting ready to retire. We're in that baby boom generation. People are on the brink of retirement and may be receiving their Social Security benefits for the first time. Is that group of big concern, or have they taken on the transition with a little less?
That group, I think, is of less concern. You are correct. Anyone that newly applies for a federal benefit, such as Social Security, SSI, or VA, when you sign up for that benefit, you have to select a direct deposit option for your payment. But those people have been in the workforce and more recently and probably have enjoyed the benefits of direct deposit in their work life. So the transition for them is a bit easier. We're really focusing now on that 5 million nationwide that have been receiving paper checks for probably, 5 to 10 years.
We talked about Social Security benefits and veterans and SSI. There are a couple of others too. I believe it's railroad retirement.
Railroad retirement.
And payroll.
And
personnel management, I believe it is.
Right, for retired federal employees, annuity payments. Those are included as well. But the largest portion of people fall into the Social Security or veterans category.
Okay, all right. So still important information in case you forget between now and wondering, I usually get that check in the mail and it's not there anymore. There are some other options besides, if people don't have a bank account, they can't do direct deposit, so there are other options?
Right. We took into consideration that not everyone has that traditional bank or credit union relationship. So we have something called the Direct Express prepaid card.
Okay.
And it's a prepaid card that acts very much like a bank account. The funds, you sign up for it, the funds are loaded on the card account each month on your payment date. And it's MasterCard branded, so you can use it anywhere MasterCard's accepted to make purchases, pay bills, get cash from the ATM. So it's the great alternative to that traditional bank or credit union account.
Okay, so this is one of those reloadable cards, so every month it would be deposited into this account.
That's right.
So it automatically would happen.
Yes.
Well, that would be the easy part. So would just direct deposit in general, but I guess you don't know until you try it.
That's right.
And to trust that it will work just fine.
Oh, much better than paper checks, believe me.
Do they see this as maybe being a good deterrent for theft or those types of things that may occur?
Most definitely.
Benefits checks?
Just last year, we had reports of over 440,000 Social Security checks reported as lost or stolen, and you simply don't have that issue with direct deposit payments.
Yeah.
The funds are in your account each morning of your payment date, ready for use. There's no waiting for a check to arrive in the mail, and the potential of it getting lost or stolen.
Well, is this particular point in time, is there a reason it's now, it wasn't earlier, or it wasn't later? What makes now the right time for this transition to electronic benefits?
I think two things. I think cost savings that we talked about in these tight budget times. It's certainly better government to make sure we issue these payments more efficiently. And it's also, I go back to the safety and convenience. It's simply the best way to receive those funds that you depend on very much each month. We want to make sure we deliver them in the safest, most convenient way.
I guess also if you have issues with, well, direct deposit can take care of things such as bad weather and you can't get to the bank, so you don't have to get in your car and go and deposit a check. But are there safeguards too in the event that you can't get to your direct deposit during a storm?
You know, I think a great point that illustrates that, you know, just last fall with Hurricane Sandy in the northeast part of the country, we had problems delivering paper checks to people that were impacted by the storm. And with direct deposit, you simply don't have that issue. If you're in the unfortunate circumstance of having to relocate, you don't have to worry about what happens to that paper check.
Okay. There is certainly, we put up on the screen, but certainly would like to do it again, where people can get more information about this particular transition to direct deposit.
We have a great website, godirect.org. Lots of great information on that website. And we also have a call center that's dedicated just for this effort, 1-800-333-1795. You can sign up for direct deposit or the Direct Express card and get any of your questions answered.
Okay, so that is the website and the toll-free number that you can contact for pretty much all the information we've been talking about.
That's right.
You know, and the website does give you a lot of detail that we couldn't even cover here, or may answer some questions you may have. But overall, it's a good thing. Just the best thing is to know that everybody is aware of it, so that there isn't a stumble here or concern. Well, you've been a mighty fine representative of U.S. Department of the Treasury. You've spoken, you know, well on why it's good and why it's good for our citizens. So thanks for coming down.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I take it from somewhere up north and visiting us here in Norfolk to let the citizens know. Well,
thank you.
We'll be back in a minute with some important life-saving information about keeping your baby safe while sleeping. Of the more than 4,500 sudden unexpected infant deaths in the United States last year, 80 to 90% are the result of unsafe sleep practices. In fact, in Virginia, the highest rate of preventable deaths occurred in Hampton Roads. Mary Wiltz, coordinator for the Eastern Virginia Perinatal Council at EVMS, and she's here to talk about the risk factors involved in unsafe sleep practices and a new video that shows you just what and what not to do. Mary, thank you for joining us. This is such an important issue, and it's such a common thing, these are common practices that people have with babies that really can turn tragic.
Yes, luckily the numbers themselves are small, but they're 100% preventable. So we would really like people to understand that just because grandma put baby down on their tummy doesn't mean that you should. Yeah. My mom didn't put me in a car seat in a safety belt either. Right. And luckily I didn't die, but it has nothing to do with your baby's risk. So we do have ways to help you prevent these preventable deaths. Okay.
Well, one of the things that kind of sets us up for this is that through the years, practices have changed, and culturally, they're imbued in our culture. We do things a certain way, and those things are hard to change when you get pressure from those who believe that that is the way you do things.
That's correct. But also, some moms don't have a safe place for their baby to sleep, especially low-income mothers, first-time mothers, teen mothers, mothers in transition from household to household. So we recommend very inexpensive pack-and-play cribs. And if you'd like, I'll tell you a way to get those free for women that need them. Grandmas, aunts, anybody's taking care of the baby that doesn't have a safe sleep surface can get online and look up Sleep Tight Hampton Roads, or call CHIP of Southampton Roads, which is 543-9100. I'm not sure I'm supposed to be looking.
That's okay. And, yes, we do have we have something up on the screen.
Oh, good. That's it. And they will help you figure out how to get a crib. These are not for, you know, baby showers. These are people that really need cribs, because one of the problems is babies sleep on the couch, they sleep on recliners, they sleep in the bed with their sibling, they sleep in the bed with their mom. And loving moms that work or get tired go to sleep, and the babies accidentally smother, which is what's happening.
Wow. And that is preventable, as you said.
100%.
100% preventable. One of the things that the Perinatal Council and EVMS has put together or has sponsored is a video that we had mentioned earlier that is available to a number of, to people who want it. Tell me a little bit about that.
The Perinatal Council worked with the child fatality team, because there is a group of people reviewing child deaths. I'm not sure people understand that, to see if there's something that the community can do. And one of the suggestions from Dr. Gunther, who's the medical examiner for Eastern Virginia, but also a professor at EVMS, was to make a video, a really potent video that shows what the death scene investigation looks like. So there's no babies in this video, but it's a very understandable video to talk about the 4 prime ways that you can reduce these preventable deaths.
Okay.
And it's freely available to anyone on the EVMS website, and actually it's linked from my Facebook page.
Okay. Well, I do have a screen that we can put up for how you can get to that video, so we can so they can link to it. And we'd also like to show you, after we take just a little peek at this board here, you can call. That's Mary's number.
That's my number, 446-6060, or my email address.
Right, and she can hook you up with a video, and I believe, do you do presentations as well?
Anytime that you want to talk about safe sleep for babies.
Okay, so there's, you know, they're able to go to groups. You have a community organization, a neighborhood where you feel that there are a lot of new mothers who may benefit from this. And although she mentions low-income mothers, any mother and father, for that matter, can benefit from this information.
We really feel like it's not going to change until everyone gets the same message. Everyone, you know, learns the same information.
Okay. What we have is the video itself is about 5 minutes in length, but we've taken a portion of it, and we'd like to show you a little bit of what you can expect, and it is very powerful stuff. Let's take a look.
The baby should sleep in the same room as the parents, but not in the same bed. I have seen tragic deaths when the mother or father fell asleep and the child slipped face forward into her breast or into the crook of his arm and suffocated without making a sound. I have seen slightly older babies who can scoot but not crawl die from getting in the corners of couches where they were laid down for a nap, and when they became wedged between the mattress of an adult bed and the wall. And I have seen particularly tragic deaths when the child is laid down between loving parents on an adult bed to share sleep, and someone's arm or knee overlies the baby. A baby's face does not have to be covered for death to come during shared sleep. A knee on the back or an arm over the chest will press down on the baby's diaphragm until it tires out and the baby stops breathing. The baby will not cry, it will just die.
So that really can drive it home, and it'll just give you chills to hear it. And this is coming from a medical examiner, so this is from personal experience, professional experience, but coming from someone who has seen these things firsthand.
She's done the autopsies. She is a passionate advocate and would like to never do these autopsies, does not enjoy them. These are by and large well-loved children being taken care of well. There's no implication in the death. Moms get tired. I was a mom. I am a mom. I don't have any infants. You get tired. Yes. And you accidentally fall asleep. It's much safer to put your baby alone in its own crib on a firm mattress with no fancy bumper pads, no pillows, no blankets. That's the safest way for the baby to sleep.
Right. This video does spell all of that out too. It will give you a step-by-step on the things that are best to do for your baby's safety. And I think the number one point is that during any sleep period, not just when you put the baby down for the night or put the baby down for a nap. I mean, anytime you think that that baby is going to be left alone and is sleepy or tired, you need to make sure the baby is in the right place.
Right, because babies that sleep on their back most of the time, if you put them down on their tummy to sleep, they are going to have a harder time breathing. They're used to breathing on their back. So it's really only safe to put them on their back, always in a safe position, always in a safe crib.
One of the things I learned from watching this too was that babies up to 4 months old have to breathe through their nose and their mouth. And if it's on their tummy and they block a certain portion of their breathing apparatus, this can cause them to
anything that occludes their nose under 4 months will cause suffocation. And it's a fallacy to think that that's easily seen on autopsy. It's not. It's very, very subtle. So these are unfortunate incidences, and they don't have to occur.
Okay, they don't.
We'd like them not to occur ever.
And that's the whole point, is trying to get education out to the community. And this video, as Mary has indicated, is available to anyone who is interested. You can go online and you can access it that way. You can call Mary at her office and give her, you know, and ask her about it. She can certainly set you up with presentations, anything you need.
I'm your woman.
Mary's your woman.
The easiest way is to go to my Facebook page, our Facebook page. If you just go to Facebook and search Safe Sleep for Babies Hampton Roads, you'll get our Facebook page. If you could like it, it would be really nice. But this video is linked from there.
Okay. Yeah, there are a number of places you can go. The one we put on the screen was the easiest for us to actually put up there so people could jot it down. But certainly if they need more information, they could give you a buzz too. And you can steer them to Facebook or wherever it is that they can find this video, because it's really worth watching the whole thing. We just wanted to show you that one segment because this person is sharing something that, if it happens, it's irreversible. And she makes that perfectly clear.
And the baby's not going to cry or let you know.
That's right.
She's going to stop breathing.
Just going to die.
And that's,
Mary, thanks. Appreciate the information. I'm sure our public does too. We hope you take advantage of it.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Bye.